Imagine this. You reach for your phone, but the screen is dead, the lights are out. Silence. The internet is gone. You cannot call for help. You cannot send a simple message to tell your family you are safe. This is not some far-off fantasy from a movie. This is a real threat. A silent crisis that can unfold in minutes. It could be a hurricane tearing down power lines, a sophisticated cyber attack crippling our infrastructure, or even a solar flare, an EMP, frying electronics across a continent. This situation isn't just for hardened survivalists, it's a reality every one of us could face, often with little to no warning. When the world goes quiet, your ability to communicate becomes your most critical survival tool. The immediate aftermath of a grid-down event is one of profound isolation. Our mobile networks, our Wi-Fi, our landlines all depend on a complex and vulnerable web of electricity and data centers. When that web breaks, we are thrown back a century in an instant. This isn't just an inconvenience, it's a life-threatening scenario. This is your mission. To learn how to keep the lines of communication open, to be a beacon of calm and coordination when others are lost in the dark. Let's get started. Our entire civilization runs on the grid. Think about it. From the power plant that generates electricity to the thousands of miles of wires that carry it, from the massive server farms that house the internet to the cell towers that dot our landscape, it is all one interconnected system. This incredible network gives us our modern way of life, but its complexity is also its greatest weakness. A single point of failure can trigger a cascade effect, bringing vast regions to a standstill. A powerful storm, like a hurricane or an ice storm, can physically snap power lines and topple cell towers, cutting off millions of people in a matter of hours. These are threats we see and understand, but the invisible dangers are just as real and far more insidious. A malicious cyber attack is no longer the stuff of fiction. Hostile actors have the capability to target and disable critical infrastructure. They could shut down power distribution networks, scramble communications satellites, corrupt the very software that makes our internet function. An EMP, or electromagnetic pulse, this could be generated by a high-altitude nuclear detonation, or a massive solar flare from the sun. A powerful EMP has the potential to instantly fry unprotected electronic circuits, rendering cars, computers, and communication devices useless. The batteries in your phone might survive for a few hours, but the network they rely on would be gone. When communication grinds to a halt, the secondary effects can be even more devastating. Emergency services become overwhelmed and uncoordinated. First responders might not know where the greatest needs are. Before you buy a single piece of gear, your most powerful tool is a plan. A well-rehearsed plan is free, it weighs nothing, and it will be your guiding light in the first confusing hours of a crisis. Technology can fail, but a plan memorized by every member of your family is resilient. The first step is to sit down with everyone, your partner, your children, elderly relatives living nearby, and talk through the what-ifs. This conversation isn't meant to scare anyone. It's meant to empower them. Your plan needs 3 core components. First, designate a primary rally point. Neighbor's porch, big oak tree at the end of the street. Then pick a secondary rally point. Library, church, park. Second, choose an out-of-state contact. In many disasters, local phone lines get jammed, but long-distance calls can still get through. This person acts as a central message board. Everyone in the family calls or texts this contact to report they're safe. Third, write everything down. Names, addresses, phone numbers of every family member and your out-of-state contact. Include the addresses of your rally points. Add the phone numbers for local emergency services, fire department, police. Make a list of any important medical information, allergies, prescriptions. Give one to every family member, keep another at home, and a third in your vehicle. Once a month, do a quick drill. Review the plan. Quiz your kids on rally points and the out-of-state contact's number. In a world stripped of its digital complexity, the simplest tools become the most valuable. These are your low-tech anchors, the lifelines that work without batteries, without a network, and without fail. A simple pen and paper, waterproof notebook, and a grease pencil allow you to leave critical messages. All safe. Went to Rally Point B, 2025, 1400. You can also use brightly colored chalk, bridging the information gap with no technology required. A high-decibel survival whistle is a must-have. 3 sharp blasts is the universal signal for distress. A signal mirror can be seen for miles. Have physical maps of your local area, your state, and your country. Mark rally points, evacuation routes, hospitals, police stations, and landmarks. When the grid is down, radio becomes your voice in the void. Radio waves travel through the air, independent of cell towers and internet cables, making them the single most resilient form of long-range communication in a disaster. Understanding the different types of radio services is crucial. You don't need to be an electronics expert. FRS radios require no license, ideal for short range within your group, keeping in touch in your neighborhood or between two vehicles in a convoy. GMRS is a step up, more power, better range. A simple license covers your family. With a good antenna or a repeater, you can reach 20, 30, even 50 miles. For ultimate independence, ham radio is the gold standard. With the right license and gear, you can reach across the country or world and tap into emergency nets when all else fails. Build layers. FRS, GMRS, for local talk. A hand crank emergency receiver for AM, FM, no AA. A handheld ham HT for long range, and a logbook to keep records. Choose weatherproof models that accept AA batteries in addition to rechargeables. Keep spare lithium AAAs. Every time you make contact, write down the time, the frequency or channel used, who you spoke to, and a summary of the message. While terrestrial radio is the backbone, satellite devices and mesh networks can bridge gaps that even ham radio can't. A satellite phone can be a literal lifesaver. Call for emergency medical evacuation or report your status when nothing else works. Satellite messengers are more affordable. Short texts, emails, GPS coordinates, and an SOS that sends your location to a 24/7 coordination center. Mesh creates a private peer-to-peer network, no towers or Wi-Fi, where each node relays messages. More users means a stronger, larger network. Great for a neighborhood, small town, or response team. Send private texts and share GPS locations completely off-grid. You can have the most advanced radio in the world, but if you don't have power, you have a useless piece of plastic. Layer power, stock lithium disposables, add Eneloop-style rechargeables, and a good charger. Use a compact 20-30 watt solar panel paired with a 20,000 mAh power bank to keep handhelds and phones running. For base gear, a 100 AAGO deep cycle battery plus a 100W plus array and a solar charge controller delivers true energy independence. A small inverter generator can backstop you, but fuel may be scarce. Antennas are a force multiplier. For under $20, an upgraded whip can nearly double range. The higher the antenna, the farther the signal. Get to a hill or top floor. For base stations, build a simple wire dipole and hoist it. Learning to deploy wire antennas is one of the most valuable radio skills. We have journeyed through the silent threat of a grid-down world and laid out a clear path to readiness. Here is your immediate action checklist. Make your paper plan and rally points. Choose an out-of-state contact. Get FRS walkies and a hand-crank no AA radio. Order a quality solar power bank. Look up your local amateur radio club and go listen. Begin your journey to resilience today. Make a plan. Get the gear. Practice the skills. Stay calm. Stay connected, and you will survive.